Hello, boys and girls. It's good to see all of you today. Gonna have a little fun today. One of the projects that was listed in the given to me in the list of projects when Wayne asked for them a month and a half ago, however long it's been. I guess it's been a month and a half anyway. Was a cat. We're going to try to turn a cat. And I took a page out of Wayne's book. I have not practiced this at all, so we're going to see what happens. Speaking of which, there he is. There's Wayne the Woodturner. Hello, Wayne.
Good evening, guys. Good
Ruby
evening.
Claire,
Good evening.
Queen Ruby. We're always glad to have Ruby in the background there and helping us along. And so I'm going to put them back in the background and we're going to
Good
just have
idea.
some fun. I've got a piece of hornbeam on the lathe and we're going to turn this to be the head. If I change camera so that you can see what in the world we're doing. All right. Let's zoom it in. There we go. Piece of hornbeam, just a nice little hardwood chunk. This was going to be a box, but I've determined we're going to change that idea. This is going to be the head for this cat. So we're going to get started, and one of these two will read out the list of folks in the chat.
Well, I know who
What?
that's going to be.
Go ahead, Wayne. They'd rather listen to your dulcet tones than mine anyway.
I thought I'd come in tonight and give Ruby a break from doing this. I don't know. I don't know if this has gone all the way back to the beginning, but obviously we've got Ruby in there. We've got Larry in. We've got Ridge Baldock in. Andy Door 60 is here. I'm still remembering names. That's not bad.
You're better than I am.
Dale Oldman River is in. Nigel Harvey, Barry Chitty, still going down. Al's in. Evening, Al. Mike Evans. Jennifer's in. Good evening, Jennifer. How the devil are you? Roger Wallum. Todd at Glen Cove. Haley's in. Hi, Haley.
Did you get Nigel Harvey?
Oh, Nigel. Hi, Nigel. And another Andy, Wivy Woodshed, is in. And Lucy's in. Hi, Lucy. Ronald Todd, who is on the West Bank of New Jersey.
Raining
Matt
over there, is
Edmondson, Vinnie Charlton. Did I see Roger Kent? But I have now, if I didn't.
it?
I don't think you had.
Fred's in. That's Fred Gulliver. Paul Finley's in. Evening, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Hope your ears were burning, Paul. We were talking about you earlier.
Yeah, nothing good. Thomas Kenny's in. And Andy's in. Lucy's, I was going to say other half. Yeah, other half. Yeah, not better half, because Lucy's the better half.
You sure about that?
Oh, I'm positive about that.
Pretty sure. It's good to have
Mike,
everybody in.
Mike's in. Dances with Aardvarks.
Hey,
I
Mike.
might.
Alan Gibb is here as well.
I am.
James Crawford as well. And I think that's me at the bottom.
I think you got them all. Well done.
There you go. That's without any practice for the last couple of months.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Michael
been a little
McEwen's
while.
just come in. Michael McEwen's just popped in as well.
Hey, Michael. Oh.
So did you mention what kind of wood you're using right now?
Yes, this is hawthorn. This piece, and a while ago, while Wayne was reading the names off, he saw me making some adjustments. It did not come off the worm screw. The worm screw came loose in the chuck. Um, I had not gotten it, not seated it in the chuck properly, and so kind of came loose.
Now, Alan Gibb has asked me a question saying, hope all is well. Not heard from you for a while. I'm getting better. I'm starting to get back there. I will be back at some point.
Yeah, when you get our age, you need to take a break now and then, right, Wayne?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
We'll let
Oh
these young
man,
guys like Doug take over.
I am sorry that's washed out. There's some beautiful spot lines in there right now.
Oh, we can see that.
Yes, we can.
Could you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely see that. Mike from
Okay.
Dancers is saying he's been immersed in animation versus geometry, stroke math, stroke physics videos for a couple of hours.
Hmm.
And Lucy has said that flattery will get me everywhere. Yeah, well, obviously.
And Susie, the Swiss woodturner, has joined us.
Ah, yeah.
Hey, Susie.
Paul Hoyton's here, the Grisby wood turner,
Hey, Paul.
but he can't find his glasses.
Uh-oh.
I've got mine and they're not doing any good, so
Yeah, well,
you can borrow mine.
you have some extenuating circumstances.
A little bit.
All right, I'm gonna work on the back side of this head, and
Well, I saw an advert for how making rather advanced puppets, and I really wanted to take the class. It's an online class, and unfortunately, it's the same day I'm teaching a class at Lee Valley.
oh no.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, these aren't the ordinary little puppets. These are really advanced ones, and I just thought it was fascinating. That kind of thing that turns me on. I admit it freely.
If anybody's interested in the stuff that Mike from Dancers has been watching, Alan Becker is the channel that he's been watching for the animation videos.
Okay. I'm still feeling some. Yeah, I still got some flats.
Jennifer, I'm not doing too bad at the moment. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, these aren't marionettes. They're a little more advanced. They're advanced marionettes. They're not the type that just have a like a cross piece above with the wires attached.
Are these the types of things that where you make birds and imitate the birds flying?
Um, yeah, but there isn't a crank underneath that makes them go up and down.
No,
You
I've
still,
had to see it. I think I saw a lass at Make It Central about 3 or 4 years ago, who did, in fact, probably earlier than that, probably 2019, who did some wonderful marionette type thing, but it was birds that she was with, I think basically with strings, she was doing them.
okay. Anthony Green has joined us. Hi, Anthony.
Evening, Anthony.
So good to have everybody along. Tell you what, this feels just doing this with people, hearing people talking is pretty amazing. I've done 2 Saturdays in a row with doing demonstrations. One of them was outside, so there wasn't a whole lot of talking going on.
It's funny you should say that because some people can't turn and listen to other people talking at the same time. They have to have dead silence.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I prefer people talk to me and ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Still a little bitty flat spot on it right there, but I think I want to sand this up, and then we'll go on, and I'll do a little more shaping on the very bottom side.
Albert wants you to change camera for some reason.
Want to see the overhead? I did get the color changed, but it's still a little bit washed out. In fact, let me see if I can fix that just a little bit.
Mike thinks that I will make something more like a warhorse.
Oh, Christine and Michael are in. Good evening, C&M.
Hello, Christine and Michael. Good to have you guys. All right. Oh, I have gotten my hose and my clamps and all of that stuff so I can use my new dust collector. You all tell me if this is too loud or if we're still okay.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay. It doesn't seem quite as loud as the old shop vac that I was using. And so I was hoping this would be okay.
And Ronald Todd's just come in. Hey, Ronald.
Hey, Ron.
So, in other words, what you're saying, Doug, is that your cat's going to have a flat head.
Yes. Yes.
With chubby cheeks.
Yes. It's just, well, part of it is a function of the wood. That's what the wood's going to allow me to do. I'm going to cut down this backside fairly significantly before we move on to the body. I do need to um, we do need to get done today. This is one of those days. I was telling Ruby earlier about 12:30, 1 o'clock. The world just seemed to collapse on me. My my car has been in the shop having a new transmission put in it.
Oh, my God.
I was expecting to hear about it. I was hoping to hear about it Saturday, but I didn't hear anything. So yesterday, I thought, okay, they'll call me fairly early in the day, probably. Never heard a word. Went today to get some large planks for another project, and was in the shop. I had all my stuff for the demonstration Saturday still in my son's car, and I wanted to get all that out, which I did. And I was in here just fiddling around, having a good time, enjoying myself. And I go outside to have my son's car around here to the very back end of the house by my shop door, and my wife says, "Did you see my text?" I said, "No, phone's been in the car." So I went and checked it. She had sent me a text at 12:45 saying that the car was ready. Had I seen it, we could have gone and gotten the car already and been back. But it almost 1:30 before I saw it, there wasn't enough time. So anyway, I want to get this done. I've got a meeting later tonight. So if I get this done by about 4 o'clock, then we can go get it before I go to my meeting after a while.
Excellent.
You see how important you folks are to Doug? That he would pass up going to get his car, spending thousands of dollars just so he could be here with us.
I'm delaying the thousands of dollars. Is what I'm doing.
Pete has joined us. Good morning, Pete.
Pete,
Hi, Pete.
good to see you today.
It's nice to see you, Rose and are shining.
At 8:15 in the evening.
Now, Mike says you could turn that sideways and make Buxton from Dougal and the Blue Cat.
Well, you see, I was going to say that a lot of people that I've seen that do the cats actually do the head in spindle orientation rather than cross grain orientation.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with learning a new way to do things.
Exactly.
Or as we've been saying here the last several weeks, there's more than one way to do it.
There's more than one way to skin a cat?
Yep. Oh, I was wondering what that was bouncing on. Duh.
Yeah, it's bouncing on the screw, Doug.
Uh-huh. Yep. Sure is. So now my parting tool, I'm sure, is dull. So there I am. That's what I was bouncing on. But there's that fault line. Beautiful dark
Oh, yes.
against
Yeah, I
that
like
lighter
that.
wood. Came out really nice there. So let me just hit that very bottom edge.
Pete says he's just in from the workshop where he was turning a 22-inch blank into shavings, and he had to wade through them to get out the door.
Sounds like fun to me. Turn that on, turn it down.
Dale has said Doug is most likely paying as much for a new trans as he paid for his first new car.
Probably.
It's more than I paid for my first car. I know that because I got a used car to begin with. I drove that car till I literally drove the wheels off of it.
And Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Glad to have you with us tonight.
Now, what type of wood is this part?
This one is hackberry.
Oh, hackberry's lovely to turn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And William Kenny's just come in as well. Hi, William.
Hey, William.
William. Everybody. Go ahead.
I just gonna say I'm on the worm screw, but I pulled my tailstock up, getting past the vibration point. That's got us at 1400 right there. So we're just going to work this down. This end will be the head. This will be the bottom. Just need to get it round to begin with. In fact, let's go to the big boy. Let's go to the big boy just to have a little fun.
And Robert Broadwood has just come in as well.
Hey, Robert.
I'm glad you brought out the big one. I had to do a post once that was 20 inches in diameter and 9 feet long, and I finally bought a And for that job, I bought a spindle roughing gouge that's actually a full 3 inches in diameter.
My word.
I'll tell you, it works like a treat. We were making a trunnion jig for a bridge.
Mm.
The darn engineer never sent me a photo of the jig in place on the bridge.
My goodness.
That was kind of disappointing.
I bet.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Well, the worst part was that the piece was so big, I had to make calipers to make sure all the parts were the right size according to
Mm-hmm.
the diagram, the scheme that he gave me. And because you can't buy them that big.
Right.
Now, Mike says that head shape would be good for a smashed potato Martian head. They filled them with their metal screws. Okay.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think about where he's coming from with that, and I'm actually thinking that used to be a TV advert for something. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike.
Lawrence says that he cut a set of wolves on a scroll saw yesterday, and they're going to have a mirror on the back, and they're the mirror image of each other. That sounds
Oh,
interesting.
excellent. And Scott's in. Scott Hampton's just come in.
Hey,
Hi,
Scott.
and he's meowing us.
Look at the cut off that spindle rough and gouge, isn't it nice?
They're a great tool.
Yeah, Fred's put in that it was an advert. I thought I remembered it.
The smashed potato from Cadbury. I thought Cadbury just made chocolate.
I don't think it was from Cadbury's. Well, for mash get smash. Yeah, the Mike's put it in for mash get smash. It was one of those powdered dried potatoes that you add milk or water to make a mashed potato.
Ugh,
Okay.
sounds terrible.
Yeah, it probably was.
Ugh.
Now, things come loose, we stop and we tighten them back up and we go at it
I
again.
think I've just missed Michael McEwen coming in.
I think you talked about him earlier.
Yes.
All right, okay.
So.
Maybe I didn't.
Welcome, Michael, anyway. You've got that tool nice and sharp, I can tell.
I was just thinking it feels dull to me. It might be sharp, I don't know, but it feels dull.
Fred Gilliver saying it was Cadbury's that made that smash.
We'll go back.
Oh, Lawrence has sent a photo of the wolves to me and Mike and Doug. Once this is finished, Lawrence, I will I'll send the photo to Ruby as well.
Thank you, Wayne.
Lucy is saying that Smash is still sold, I believe. Well, if it isn't still sold, you still can buy. Because I saw some in Tesco's today. You still can buy
Powdered
a
mashed
box,
potatoes.
yeah, a box of dried flakes that you make in the mashed potato.
Now, Scott's saying that if anyone's interested, it's currently 103, and that would be Fahrenheit, where he lives in California.
Yeah, I've been seeing on the news that some of the wildfires there at the moment are absolutely horrendous.
Well, we got a break today in the weather because we've been breaking into the hundreds here, and it's down in the 80s now, which is actually a relief.
Now, Richard asked Michael McEwen if he'd been going to the AAW, and Michael has replied, "Hi, Rich. Had planned to be there, but had major mechanical issues with his vehicle. Finally got it fixed 2 weeks ago. $6,200 plus."
Sounds like you had the same problem Doug's had with his.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got just a little over $5,000 bill coming here in just a little while.
Hey, me.
Now, the perfect temperature for me is about 65 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, same here. 65 to 70. That does nicely. And Vicky Bio's just come in and said, "Hi everyone, first time here,
Oh,
but see a lot of familiar names in the chat."
all right, Vicky.
Welcome
Glad
in. This is a very people-friendly group. They're even friendly to cats. That's why Doug invited this one along.
I suspect this one will be claimed by she who must be obeyed.
Alan Gibb has said that he's just back from Turkey, which was 47 degrees centigrade,
Ooh,
which was
Oh.
very hot for a strawberry blonde like him.
that'd be very hot even for a brunette like me.
It's just hot.
Yep.
Oh, the prof has just come in as well.
Hi, Rob.
Rob,
Rob's getting some nice overcast weather up his way. Because as it
Oh.
passes over me, it heads up and visits him.
yeah, still got a flat spot all through there. That dark area right there's very flat still. This wood has gotten much harder too since I harvested it.
So you're going to have, in other words, you're going to have a skinny cat.
Well, yeah,
That's all right.
he's a street cat.
And Scott Hampton is going to be at SWAT this year. He's going to be given 3 demos during SWAT. And if you happen to see him, please stop and say hi. And I believe that Captain Eddie's going to be at SWAT this year.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
He was going to go, and then he wasn't going to go, and now he is going to go. So everybody has given, they've all signed off on him to go. So he is very happy.
So I believe his wife's organised that, hasn't she?
Yes.
I think so.
He didn't know about it. She did it on the sly.
Yeah, that's what
That
yeah.
he was getting kind of emotional telling us about it.
Yeah, I came in right on the tail end of that last week.
Well, it's not too often that people getting up in years get nice surprises like that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean we can't appreciate them the same as kids.
Well, and to know that the doctor had been emphatic that he was not going to go, and that she was able to make that happen. That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Gonna stop and readjust just a little bit. Change tools.
Before I forget, Wayne, if I stop over to Harrogate, what's the closest airport to fly into?
The closest airport is Leeds Bradford. But I don't know if they do any international from Canada. So the next closest would be Manchester.
Okay. All right. Nice cuts you're making, Doug.
Thank you. Yeah, that skew. um, some of the guys there in Worldwide Woodturners helped me begin to wrap my head around the skew and what it took to use it. And still not my favorite tool, but I like to use it when I can.
I've got to say, I love the skew.
I do
I
too.
really.
So that cut, which was pretty tough. I mean, there's some bumpy right there, but that was because I was shoving the tool through the wood. Then I come back and make a liner cut like this. I could feel the rough spot, but now I've just made another light cut, and where it was bumpy, it's now smooth. It may become bumpy again, but
You can see it too.
yeah.
Now, Richard said Carter and Son has come out with some new skews. I need to try the one that he needs to try the one that he got at AAW.
And how are these skews different from?
I don't know. The thing that I need to ask is, the AAW was a good few weeks back. Why have you not tried it yet?
And the Dutchman's Wood Shack has joined us.
Good evening.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to have you, Jeff. Just making myself a no-cut line there. This is the head, and the screw does go into that a fair ways, but I wanted to get smaller than the chuck jaws. These are the horned jaws, by the way. Some of the new ones that Nova has just come out with. Good bit smaller, but they're still the same shape as the original.
So they have a nice dovetail.
They do. And on the inside, after the first little bit, just a tiny bit at the top, they have the gripper jaws.
Okay.
So if you make a
Yeah.
little bit longer tenon, you get into that gripper jaw, and then you really got a hold of something.
A
And
little bit like the sea jaws from Axminster that I tend to use.
Probably.
and Pete is reminding you that there is a screw in there, Doug.
Yep. Yes, I do remember that.
Now, the Richards replied about the skews that the previous skews were not straight, but rounded some.
Hmm.
Here
mean, you do get the skews with straight sides and square corners. You get the skews with straight sides and rounded over corners, which a lot of professionals tend to use. You get the skews which are oval, and you also get skews which are round bar.
I like the oval skew myself.
Yeah,
And
this one's an oval.
I've got this. I've got this here. I tend to use the oval skew. It's a bit more difficult, I find, to sharpen than the straight-sided skews. But
Oh,
I still prefer to use it because I can actually change on the tool rest. I can actually change the angle of the skew as I'm turning.
yeah, I sharpen mine by hand. I don't use jigs.
Okay.
And I find it's very easy, very fast. And I find that if you sharpen it with a stone, I like it better than with, say, a diamond wheel. The diamond wheel leaves the surface flat, whereas the stone tends to undercut it a bit.
Yeah.
And I find it works better.
And sometimes using a stone or a lesser grit, let's say the 120, if you're using the likes of the Pro Edge, it does tend to leave a bit of a burr on there, which helps as well.
Yeah. Well, it helps cutting in one direction.
Yeah.
When I was still trying to put a handle on it,
Sorry.
I was told to go ahead and sharpen on the grinder, which leaves that hollow grind. And then when you come back with your diamond stone and you're rubbing the bevel, going back and forth on both sides, you can watch that hollow grind, and when the hollow grind disappears, that's when it's time to go back to the grinder. But not until.
Hmm.
I tend to find that for me, certainly, obviously on spindle work, it's one of the easiest tools to use, both left-handed and right-handed.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't have too much trouble going the other way. Now I do have, what is it? Yeah, turning the bead, the left side of the bead is okay for me. Turning that right side and running over that right side is still a little difficult. I'm still working on that one.
What you need to do probably is move your body a little more to the right.
You're probably exactly right.
If your whole upper body isn't quite in the right position, the one side can be a little more difficult to turn.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yes.
people forget that as you turn a bead or make something round, you have to let the handle of the tool come around as well.
Now, Peter's put in that he came across a skew that was oval but square on one side. And to make matters worse, someone had skewed it upside down, so the heel down on the tool rest was the flat edge.
So it's flat here.
Yeah. To fix that, Pete, you're going to have to lose a little bit of metal, I think.
Trying to get beyond. There's a bad place in the wood here, and I'm trying to get through it.
Now you can actually notice when Doug's cutting there. If you notice when Doug is using the skew there, he's coming in and he's actually using the bottom third of the skew to cut. That is the way to use a skew. Do not go. You can go up towards the center, but never go over the center, because that's when you're going to get catches.
Yeah, Rich says the old Carter skews had a radius profile with straight edges. What's really key are those radius profiles because then they don't dig into the tool rest.
Now, Mike
Mm-hmm.
has also said he's been looking for videos on using the skew heel up, but can't find much.
Well, you don't tend to use the heel up very much.
Most people don't. That's one of the odd things that Rafen does. Raffin, however you want to say his last name, he uses the heel up. Oh, we're finally getting there. That bad spot must have been deep.
Right, I'm just gonna drop out for a second. Just need a quick comfort break. I'll be back shortly.
That's a promise, I hope.
I'll come back with my bull gauge just to get past this problem area, whatever that is. There we go.
Lawrence says he has a Savannah skew with a radius profile, needs to sharpen it, but not sure how. For something like that, Lawrence, I would hand sharpen it. Just lean it against your little shoulder of the platform and then just turn it with your hand.
All right, we must be close. Must be close.
If you want to avoid any dips in that, you have to stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
Well, yeah, because every time you breathe in, you move the tool. That's got a nice shape to it.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the things that I have found for me anyway, that once I've used the skew for a bit, I can start getting not only smooth surface, but I can get a pretty nice shape with it as well, as long as I don't try to get it too sharp. Try to get too sharp a curve and just doesn't work as well.
No,
I'm
because
back.
what happens is then you come off the bevel and you have a catch.
Yeah, well, that too.
Very last demo I did, one of the fellows in front asked if I'd ever gotten a catch on the lathe on purpose. And I said yes, and I said I'll be glad to show you one. And I said, but for me to do it, you have to come up here to the headstock of the lathe and become my power source. And I had him turn the lathe, and I demonstrated how a skew should be used. And then I demonstrated what causes a catch.
There you go.
Basically, it's coming off the bevel.
Yes.
And having that nice slow power source showed it in great detail for the people in the club.
All right. Figured out what was causing that rough spot that was aggravating me. It's had a worm in it at one time.
And Pete says, great skew control there, Doug. Up and over the bead is one of the harder cuts. And Pete's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yes. Yes. Perfectly right. But I got that one to kind of learn the skew and get going. It wasn't too long that I got that one. So we go from a 1 inch to a half inch, and sometimes that half inch is too big, so we go down to a 1/4 inch.
I have a tendency to go up the other direction.
Well, there's been a time or two I kind of look at those shavings. Those are so much fun, and that's all off the skew.
That's when you know you've got a sharp tool and you've used it correctly.
Yeah.
I call those spaghetti shavings.
Yes. And they are curls, really. She's
Now,
done them. Yeah.
Fred Gulliver is asking a question here, and it is, what is the best angle to use on a skew? I don't know if that's for sharpening purposes or the way you present it to the wood, but
I
for
think
sharpening purposes, it's usually around about the sort of 20, 25-degree sharpening angle, something like that. The angle on the skew, I'm not too sure of.
usually it's around 70 degrees.
What you do need to do is usually with the skew, you have the tool rest slightly above center. Right. Or the Fred has said for sharpening. For sharpening, I've got the Pro Edge, and I'm sure on the Pro Edge, it's around about 20 degrees, something like that. I think Steve Jones uses something around about 15 degrees, so that's a 30-degree overall angle that he uses on his skews. And as far as I'm concerned, Steve Jones is the master of the skew.
Agreed.
No, no doubt about that.
Steve was one of those people that I contacted when I was training. I don't know why. Just whatever reason, I decided I was desperate to learn how to use a skew. I sent him a text or an email, and he emailed back immediately, told me, gave me the answer that I was asking, and then elaborated and really helped a lot.
Now, if you are wanting to watch any of Steve's stuff, I think he is on Facebook as Wood Turners. I
Yes.
think he's on Facebook as. It might be the same on YouTube as well.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Steve is from the UK, from the Midlands in the UK. He is a production turner, family-run organisation. I think his great-grandfather started the company, and Steve does basically just does production work, which is newel posts, stair spindles, stuff like this. Does not use any type of copy lathe. Does everything with storyboards or by eye, and turns out absolutely the most amazing copy work you could ever see.
Yeah, he's a beautiful turner to watch.
Really is. Just amazing to see the cuts that he can produce. Quite often, doing things that we never thought were even possible with a skew.
Your voice is coming through a little strange there, Doug.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes my mic slips up a little bit, changes the way it sounds.
Jim Selby's just come in.
Hey,
Hi,
Jim.
Once you get an angle on your tools, whether it's the skew or the spindle gouge or even your bowl gouge, whatever angle you get used to is going to be the one that's going to feel right.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree with that. You get people following some of the bigger wood turners with the types of angles that they put on their gouges and everything. I have found one particular angle on my gouge that certainly on my bowl gouge that I absolutely adore, and it removes wood very, very fast. It does details very, very fast. So if you can afford the tooling, or if you can afford to change angles on one particular tool before you buy another one and stick with that angle, try it. Try the different angles and see what is the best one for you to cut with.
Yeah.
The only tool that I have where I have different angles would be on 2 different bowl gouges, because I have one for coming in steep down sides, and I have another one for going across flat bottoms.
Yeah, I'm totally the same, Ruby. I, as most people know that watch my lives, I do have a number of bowl gouges. Most of them have the same angle on there, but I do have a couple of different ones. I have one with a finer profile, and I have one for doing across the bottom of deep bowls.
Hmm.
Just cutting off the excess that was there so that we can
Yeah,
look at it.
Mike says milky, milky. It does look like a milk bottle.
That's fine. That's fine. Oh,
And Pete
yeah.
says that bowl gouges are great as they get too short for the jig in under a year. So then you have a short tool you can play with lots of angles on.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Pete.
You're,
Exactly.
you're,
No, Billy's in. Billy Bird's in.
Hey, Billy.
He's saying his internet is down. He's on his phone, so you won't be chatting much.
Okay.
your face shield's getting in the way there, Doug.
It's because it's on.
Well, it's up.
Yeah, it was up so that I could, because I'm not turning anymore, so I could be up. Okay, now, my intention here, should have cut this already. I'm going to cut a little piece of dowel to drop in there.
You've got plenty of time, Doug. We've just gone 10-2.
Yeah, but don't forget he's got to go pick up his car.
Oh yeah. Obviously, I
I got to go
that.
spend money. Got to go spend money that I don't have is the worst part. If I had it, it'd be one thing.
If you had it, you could have spent on something else.
Yeah, if I had it, I'd just buy a new car.
I was thinking more about new lathe, but yeah, okay.
No, I don't need a new one. I just got rid of one.
You
I'd
got
like
rid
to
of
build a
another
shop.
one, so you've only got 7 left in Ruby.
6 left.
Okay.
And one I'm going to bring upstairs here in my art room so I can sharpen my pastel pencils when I'm drawing.
Oh, I love that.
Other pencil sharpeners don't work, but a skew with a pencil in an SC2 chuck and dome jaws works perfect. Great, Doug.
If I put my mic down where you can hear me, there's the body and the head. Now, this very quickly, shouldn't take but just half a second. I've got, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. I'll take this worm screw out. Take the chuck off. There we go. I tell you what, I got these couple of these magnetic trays, and those are the greatest things.
Yes, they are.
I don't have to worry about stuff falling out. Just toss it up there, and we're done. All right.
All down the front of my lathes, I have magnets, about 6 of them, and my knockout bar, my handles for my chucks are all stuck to them.
Yeah, there you go.
Normally I use a stab
The
center for
annoying thing
this,
is,
but I can't find it.
yeah, the annoying thing is that you can't stick pencils to magnetic trays, so they still go missing.
Yeah, yeah.
Doug, Wayne, I'll have to send you a pencil holder that's a magnet.
Yeah, I've seen some of those being used, and you can see in the background, I got 2 pencil pots right there, full of pencils, and I found a big bunch of pencils the other day. I forgot where. I don't know where they're at now, but I've got another big bunch of pencils. All right, let's see. We're loose. We're missing the tool rest just, but we are missing it.
Lawrence, I am on Facebook. My last name is spelled Cler. Yeah, I gave Pete some of the magnetic pencil holders and solved the problem for him.
All right, get myself pulled back
There
together
you
here. There. Now, did that Saturday. I started turning, didn't have my face shield down. I thought,
Right.
this doesn't feel right.
Todd's just said the going back to school sales should be starting soon. They've already started over here, Todd.
They
Go
have
buy
to-
the jumbo pack of pencils.
Yep. And buy the bright yellow ones because they're the most visible in the shavings.
There you go. Or I guess we could get them and dip them in blue paint, couldn't we, Wayne?
Oh, I don't know about blue.
Doug, can you change camera to overhead?
Yeah, we can do
Susie's
that.
asking.
Thank you. Glad to do that. I meant to do that.
Now,
Did you-
I got a whole load of pencils a few years ago. A whole load of pencils, which I thought were very good. And the annoying thing is, they don't draw on wood.
Don't draw on wood.
Are they hard or
Nope.
are they HB?
They didn't have a hardness on them, but they just don't draw on wood.
Sounds like they were made with the hard lead.
I just what I usually do is and now I did get some from Klingspor. I got some from Rob from Klingspor, some pencils, but I usually buy the carpenter's pencils.
Mm-hmm.
They work too.
This is so much better since I can use my knockout bar and get stuff out of the spindle. It's been worth all the
Larry
aggravation.
is just send you a friend request, Ruby.
Okay.
Splinters out of the way, then I can tighten that chuck down again using the Hornig jaws. I need to do a project real soon and show you all the new dome jaws.
So Doug, you've got the lathe move, so you can get the knockout bar in without changing the headstock now.
Yes.
Excellent.
My one of my shop vacs went dead on me. It died in the middle of a project, and since then I've bought a dust collector that is over there, and I still have the big metal hose or tube, but I've got a 4-inch suction line on it. So yeah, all that works out great. But in the process, I moved the lathe to the right, 3 feet thereabouts, and moved my tools from the right to the left. So I'm still getting used to it all, but it's working out really, really well. There we go.
Lawrence just sent me a photo of his walls. Those look great.
Oh, excellent. That means I don't have to.
That's great. Very nice, Lawrence.
So I'm just turning what will end up being the ears. I'll turn a cone, then I'll take it to the bandsaw and rip it in half.
If I were going to do that, Doug, what I would have done would have left the blank in a square form so that it would sit flat on the bandsaw when I cut it in half.
I understand what you're saying. Yes. And normally that would be exactly the procedure I would use. Except that I'm going to cut it in half this way. So this will be this flat end. I'll cut it off here. I'll take it over and I'll have 2 ears out of
Okay.
one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Well, didn't raise my tool rest back up.
Andy from Wivy Woodshed has said, IKEA has good pencils and they are free.
Free
And
pencils
they
at
do.
IKEA.
Yeah, but the thing is about IKEA. Okay, they've got the free pencils and they have the bag that you can carry about. But by the time you get through IKEA, you've been lost for 3 weeks and probably so have the pencils.
Lost for 3 weeks. Yeah, that's a big old store, isn't it? I've never been in an IKEA. We do have them here. I've just never been in one.
That's an experience. Yes,
Yeah,
Pete, they're made for normal sized people.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
The reason, Doug, the reason that you get lost in IKEA is that they, from start to finish, they have arrows telling you where to go. And if you try and take a shortcut, that's when you get lost for 3 weeks.
I got you.
Lucy said, when you've eaten your body weight in meatballs, yeah, probably, and probably dime bars as well. Oh, Zed's in. Evening, Zed.
Hey, Zed.
Hey, Zed.
Zed, go ahead and put your link in for your next premiere. So I'm going to wrap this up here just momentarily. Almost done. The other thing with beads that I have to remember is absolutely use the heel. I've tried to do it up a little bit, and that's where I allow myself to get off the bevel. I'll use the heel, have a whole lot less issue. Tell you another person, if you can find their videos, is Robo. They're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty masterful with his skew as well. In fact, did a online class for anybody who wanted to do the work and be there at a certain time and all that stuff. Okay.
Now, Zed has put his link in, and I believe that'll be later on this evening.
Yes.
I think I'm right in there.
All right. Again, I'll be right back and go cut this
Right
off.
now, right, Mike from Dancers, they put a comment in there, and it said it's been held for review. basically because one of the words he used. But I'm going to show it. And Mike said, how do you feel about whistles or faggots, Andrew? Now, whistles and faggots are two different types of, if you like, meatballs or a food product. Faggots does not, in the UK, compared to what in the USA.
Yes.
Which is why I allowed it.
Yep.
Zed just wrote that he caught a cold that was going around that only makes you sick on Monday through Friday. The doctor told him it was because of his weekend immunity. That's a good one, Zed.
Yeah, you can always rely on Zed.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you can rely on him for, but you can rely on him.
All right, just giving that the cut side a little sandy sand. All right, this guy's done. We can get rid of him. Oh, there you go. One of these days, I'll make a big wooden wrench that I can do this with and stuff. Channel locks. Here we go. I must say, those horny jaws do a fine job. All right. Let's see. If I go to that one, get that guy back out of the way. Put a drop or two of glue in here.
Where are you going to place that
The ear?
that Spalton, Doug? The Spalton
Right there
on the
on the
head.
Well, the pretty part's right on top. So it's going to kind of depend on where it falls on this drill hole.
Lucy says it's a baby skittle.
There we go.
And William says, Doug, there's no wee taste of sanding sealer.
You're exactly right. that's yeah. Paul has this thing about everything's wee, and so when he gets to the sanding sealer, he's gonna just a wee sand and then a wee taste of sanding sealer.
And a wee drop of glue.
And a wee drop of glue. So there's the spalting going across, and it's kind of, well, it's getting washed out. But I'll get some oil on it after all this oil or all this glue dries. Little glue on the bottom of one ear. I'll have to come back and paint on his nose and eyes. Yeah, I may actually go a little crazy and drill some holes and put something in there for whiskers.
Well, you could always turn a little button and put it on as the nose.
Even moved where my mask goes. So my mask doesn't go on the left side anymore against that wall. It goes on the same thing that my computer screen is on.
A little hard to adjust to something being in a different place, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. Here we go. There's my little cat. and we'll put
Excellent.
a little face on him. I'll get my Sharpies out, and we'll just have a little fun. So easy as that. 1, 2, 3.
He came out
Nicely
nice.
done, Doug.
There we go. If I move that camera down, that would help too. There we are. There he is. And we'll call him Felix. Felix the
Lucy-
shop cat.
Yeah, and Lucy has said perfect.
Oh my. I was afraid those puns would start. All right, folks. It's been a good day, and I hate to rush, but I do need to go and pick up that car. They close at 5,
He
and I've
needs
got a
to go and
meeting
spend
at
some
7.
money.
Yeah, unfortunately. And if you want to help with the fund, no, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. I am not going to ask for transmission funds, unlike somebody else I saw on YouTube yesterday. Doing this project, so if you'd buy some T-shirts, that'll help me fund this project.
Oh God.
and I understand
Okay.
what he's saying, but it's just a little over the top. So anyway,
Yeah, it's not
thanks.
right. It's not right.
Yeah. Wayne and Ruby, I thank you guys for being in, and all of you in the chat. Thank you so much. It's been a good day. I hope you've had a fun time as well. Maybe you're spurred on to try one of these. First one I've ever done, and it's just
And
one of
no
those things. I don't
practice.
see
No practice.
no practice. I don't know anybody that does that. I'm the only one, right?
Absolutely, you're the only one.
Yeah. Yeah. How many times have I heard Wayne tell Mark, you always practice, and then he'll come on the next couple of days and I didn't practice this.
I didn't practice. No.
Do what I
Disappointing.
say, not what I do.
There you go. There you go. I did that at the Kentucky State Fair one year in front of 200 or 300 people. Never practiced just in the middle of the demo, I decided to do something new, and it worked, fortunately. But anyhow, thank you all so
Now,
much. I see,
Lucy's
go ahead.
asking before you leave, can you bring Ruby and myself back into the camera shot?
I don't know if I can do that or not.
I don't know why she would want to see
Here we
me.
are. I don't know why she want to see me either.
Ask and you shall receive.
Well, I can understand wanting to see you, Wayne, but
Zed says he may have to make a fat cat version. Yeah, sure. Fat cats are always good ones. I've got one.
Zed said you should get Steve Trudell to turn a tail for that cat.
Oh
Now,
my.
okay, right. If nobody has actually watched anything that Steve Trudell does, and I've known Steve for a lot of years now, that guy is out of control when it comes to off-center turning. He is
Yes.
totally out of control.
Yes.
he's great.
If you haven't
He
seen
is.
it yet, he has started a series of, I'm not sure what he's calling them, but they're primarily shells and
They
antiquity
are.
kind of things. Really
I
interesting.
think he's calling them nature's art forms.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's right.
He bought a book about nature's art forms, and he's doing turning to do with these nature's art forms, and they
Yeah.
are absolutely out of this world.
Now, Doug, if you want to turn a tail for that, what you do is you get some very green wood, turn it down to about 1/4 of an inch,
Mm-hmm.
make it a little longer than you need, put it into boiling water, a pot
Right.
of boiling water,
Right.
wearing gloves, bend it the way you want the tail to go around something and use elastics or whatever to hold it.
Sure.
And then let it cool down. And when it's cool and dry, then you can stick it in the back of the cat and you'll have a nicely bent tail.
It would work very nicely that way. Absolutely.
All
right.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, unless you want to show something, I'm going to go.
You've got to go, so we can
All right.
do it another time.
Good to see everybody. Wayne Ruby again. Thanks. It's good to see both of you. Wayne, it's been a little while. I'm real happy to see you.
I'm
No
thrilled
probs,
he's
mate.
back.
No probs.
All right. We will see you folks in the chats. If not, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Night,
Have a
everybody.
good evening.